Yes. Biko ekene m unu ndị ọma na-ege m ntị. Afọ m bụ Maazi Dibia, oji nkuzi eme ọjị, onye nkuzi ndị nkuzi. Aka ji ofe arụ ofu ya na Nando, signboard ndị Nando, ọkọlọtọ ndị gboo. My name is Maazi Dibia, the teaching magnet, the custodian of the Arofonye deity, a proud Igbo son of the ancient Igbo. Today, I bring to you a message of peace and love. I bring to you that ancient voice that you can resonate with on the temple of truth and justice. I bring to you the ancient voice of our ancestors that knows no boundary. I bring to you the commemoration of peace, love, and light. I bring to you the knowledge of the saints, transcendent to us from time immemorial. My name is Maazi Dibia, on behalf of the Maazi Dibia Foundation. I welcome everybody, myself and the team. We are striving to awaken the consciousness of our people through sound doctrine. We bring to you a message of peace and not of divide. We draw you from the far west, north, south, and the east. We are the Igbo, the ancient people that have lived the faces of the earth. And these are the things you will learn at the end of today's session. The point is that it will be in series, as we might not finish everything today. For those of you watching me through TikTok, should there be any reason that the network fails you on TikTok, switch over to Facebook. The same name you knew me with, that's the same name I'm using. For those of you watching me on Facebook, should there be any reason that Facebook fails you, switch over to TikTok. The same name you know the organization with, that's the same name we operate. As I speak to you, I am in one of our locations, and I say that today, the first thing in the teaching is to show that, number one, that the ancient people, which I classify as Igbo, no YouTube. We will upload on YouTube when we get 1,000 followers. We've been begging you people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You don't want to subscribe, so it's not my making. So today, I bring to you the knowledge of our ancestors. And I will start whichever way we stop for the day. The next day we continue. Now, that Ndi Igbo, number one, that Ndi Igbo predates the Jews. Hence, the Jews cannot give birth to Ndi Igbo. Rather, number two, that the Igbo race cannot possibly be said to have one progenitor in actual traces and archaeology. Hence, there are about 4 to 5 compositions that made Ndi Igbo. Under this umbrella, I will make mention the knowledge that says that Eri cannot be said to be the general fathers of all the Igbos. For those saying that the sound is disturbing, it is coming from a church living nearby. Number 3, that the Yoruba clan of Ife, I repeat, that the Yoruba clan of Ife we either you call it Ife or Uhe, I'm reading from my Facebook post, shares the same blood or coexisted by mutual correlation or by war with the Igbos in the present land of Ife. Number 4, that there is an Igbo ancestor revered by the Yorubas but unknown to the Igbos. Please, for those saying bring me up, I will not entertain such today. When I say that the Igbos coexisted with the Yoruba, either by war or by blood or by mutual correlation, I didn't say it to incite war or hate, rather to give traces of our history. Number 5, that Afa or Efa or Fa or Efa, whichever way your people call it, is the almighty connection that connotes the ancient Igbo with their brothers and sisters. Number 6, that Igbo does not entail only the Igbos alone, but entails some part of the Calabari Empire, which you now call the Efik, the Bibio, the Ekoi, the Gala, the Jukuns. Number 7, that the Westerners who brought in the new alphabet system had an ulterior motive to conceal an ancient knowledge. Number 8, that the world is more than 100,000 years, whereas the story of Adam is merely 6,000 years. Number 9, that Benin, which was originally called Idu, is simply a multiverse of Ndigbo before the Portuguese conquest. Number 10, that Cameroon, Gabon, Congo, Ghana, Togo, and the Benin Republic, and other near borders of Nigeria, has blood relatives cut off by the borderline of the colonial boundary system. These are the tenets of the teachings. Now, I begin with the first one, the first teaching. You cannot talk about Ndigbo without including the Izo people. You people call it Ijo, but history call it Izo. I-Z-O-N. That the Eche, Igwere, Oba people, Isoko Urobo, the Igbos, including the Ife Yoruba, are from one family. Now may the teaching continue proper. I repeat, for those watching in TikTok, there are possibilities that the TikTok live stream might give problems. Switch to Facebook. For those watching via Facebook, there are possibilities that the Facebook live stream my gap problem, switch to TikTok. So in case one fails, I have given you the alternative. Now, I will start by saying, number one, whatever we are going to discuss today must be treated as history, number one, and must not be treated as a hate speech, must not be taken. Please, this noise from the church is too much. I can't bear it. The noise you are hearing from the background is coming from the church. Their megaphone is too loud, like always. May we not incite hatred between our individual selves and may we not trigger unnecessary hatred when we are striving to talk about history. Now, the first one is to say that the Igbos predates the Jews. Point number one. The foundation of Judaism is traced to the clarity that there was a man called Adam and Eve. This so-called Adam and Eve, we traced its origin in history, and we could not find a man called Adam. Rather, we found out that the great Anunnakis created the first advanced men in ancient Sumeria and called them the Adaman. These Adaman are a hybrid of a modern man, Homo sapiens sapien, and he said, I have made man in my own image and likeness. That statement was copied and written inside the Bible. Please, before I continue, the comment is distracting me. Is the noise so bad? Viewers all over the world, is the noise so bad? So I will correct it. Give me your comment. Is the noise so bad? Let me know what to fix. But I know in the next 10-20 minutes, in the next 10 to 20 minutes, the church will close their service and we continue. Moving further, if Adam was the first man on earth, then everything we knew in history is actually a joke. Why do I say so? The account of old Adam being the first man on earth cannot be taken as a serious history because the youngest pyramid in Giza today is about 13,000 years. If there is a pyramid in Egypt that is 13,000 years, it means that there are people who pre-existed Adam that built that pyramid. You might be hearing noise from my fan because I'm using solar stroke generator, and it may not be able to carry the AC, so it's not a generator noise. And let me also try filtering the noise. I think I filtered the noise now. If there is a pyramid in Egypt, I don't want to talk about the pyramid in Sudan or the pyramid in ancient Idu kingdom, present day Benin, or the Sudan pyramid. But let's use the popular pyramid which everybody knows. If there is a pyramid in Giza today, and that pyramid is about 13,000 years, then I can boldly tell you that the story of Adam is a joke. I saw one button on Facebook that says press it to cancel noise. I pressed the noise counselor and I think he has done his job. Now, quoting from the works of late Chidimma Katrina Cholonu, in one of our work which he said, we existed before Amsterdam. We will find traces of certainty in that research work. Now, the person that just called me now, you will damage things for me, but you don't know. You did not listen when I mentioned the Sude pyramid. That is the pyramid in Enugu. Now, if there is a pyramid of 13,000 years, any other person telling you that Adam was the first man on earth is actually high on cheap stuff, or the person does not understand what is history. There are two types of history. Number one is history, and number two is history. I repeat, there are two types of history. Number one is the hidden story, which is the actual history. And the second one is history, which is the one they made up and gave to us. Now the question becomes, do you want us to talk about the actual history or history, the one they gave us? Number one, if Adam was the first man on earth and Eve was the second creation that is human, and Adam impregnated Eve, and they gave birth to Cain and Abel, and Cain killed Abel and ran away to the land of Nod, where the Bible God made him a fugitive and a vagabond. And he went to the land of Nod and married. My question now becomes, who did Cain marry in the land of Nod? Number two, even your Bible, who was trying to invent the story of Cain and Abel, made mention that there are 4 rivers flowing from the Garden of Eden. River Tigris, River Euphrates, River Pishon, and River Gihon. Your Bible also said that this garden is located in Ethiopia. Now, permit me to say this. The word Ethiopia is a new modern name. The original name was Ethiop. I repeat, the word Ethiopia is more or less a new modern name. The original name was Ethiop. And the word Ethiop was used to classify the Black Land, not just present-day Ethiopia. Now, may I bring to your notice that when you hear Ethiop, in fact, what you call Africa today was originally called Ethiop. I repeat, what you call Africa today is actually called Ethiop. If we really want to notify our name by our own nomenclature, we should not be calling ourselves Africa, because an explorer called Scipio Africanus from Greco-Roman claimed that he discovered us. How can a Caucasian discover a god like the black ones? Now, it is quite obvious that 7,000 years ago, the continent of Europe did not have any inhabitants. That is to say, the Caucasians did not exist until about 6,000 years ago. This is not a racist remark, but they know that there is nothing called a white people until about 6,000 years ago. Going further, the name Alkebulan was called to us by the Arabs. Many people think that Alkebulan was our original name. No, it was the Arabians who referred us as Alkebulan. When an Arabic man wants to call a people or denote a place, they always use the word AL. For example, the land of Kemet, which is now called Egypt, the Arabians called it Al-Kemet. 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 From the word Al-Kemet, which was the name of ancient Egypt, the Europeans got the science of alchemy. Because alchemy is the black man's science of transmutation of metals. So the name Africa was actually a name of a Caucasian whose name was Scipio Africanus. For those on TikTok that are dropping gift on me, thank you very much, my in-law. For those on Facebook, if you cannot drop gifts, you will drop it later. I don't know why Facebook doesn't want me to include the star button. Now, when you hear the names like Alkebulan, it was not indigenous to us. It was our neighbors, the Arabians, that referred to us as Alkebulan, whereas we are originally Ethiop. Sister Chizzy, I don't want them. Ethiop. Now, when you hear the word Ethiop, it does not end at Ethiopia. I repeat, the word Ethiop does not end at Ethiopia. It means every tentacles of what you call Africa today. The continent you refer to as Africa is originally referred as Ethiopia. There comes a time it changed from Ethiopia to Abyssinia. But the original name was Ethiopia, meaning black man's land. Similar to that, there are some dialectical dysfunction. Some people call it Ethiopia. Some people call it Ethiopia. Some people call it Ethiopia. In Delta State, there is a local government till today that answers Ethiopia North, Abi Ethiopia East and West. Someone should confirm in the comment section. So, Ethiopia was the original name used to denote the black man's land. If you study Atlas Geographica, around the 13th, 12th century, before the era of Christopher Columbus, when our ancestor, King Abubakar of the ancient Maliki Empire of present-day Mali, sent out 200 boats, he said he wants to find the sea current that goes from Africa, the western sphere of Africa, to the newfound land, which we call America today. And they said they want to use what is in Africa, just like it was in Tameri, to make a new land from the word of Tameri, which was originally Egypt. So, from the word Tameri, T-A-M-E-R-I, they gave them to a new land, which you are calling America today. Tameri. Our ancestors studied the sea current with 200 boats. The boat was engulfed by the sea current. The boat was engulfed by the sea current, and he sent another 2,000 boats. In the 2,000 boats, King Abubakar of the ancient Maliki Empire went to discover a new land before the Aztecs and the Mayans. I repeat, before the Aztecs and the Mayans. When he came, he discovered that the Olmecs, which happens to be Africans, are already occupying the vast lands of what we now call Mexico. The Caribbean islands, the Olmecs, the Incas, they've begun to create civilization there already, mimicking what is happening in Tameri, in the newfound land. That was before the Arabians began to capture Indian slaves and African slaves. When King Abubakar, who was very rich, equipped 2,000 boats in search of a new territory, he landed and did not return back. He vacated his kingship, and the next person that succeeded him was King Mansa Musa, who happens to be the richest king in history. So the wealth of King Mansa Musa was made possible by King Abubakar of the ancient Maliki Empire. In the ancient Maliki Empire, The Songhai Empire was also very tough as Adan. Remember, Catherine Echolonu made a mighty work to prove to the world that our ancestors pre-existed Adam. Today, when the Anunnakis created the first human by themselves, the first modern human, the Homo sapiens sapien, they raised it up and said, I have made man in my own image. This species of humans can still be found in the Andaman tribe, which are marginalized in the Ross Island of present-day India. Now, if you check in your Google search engine to research about the Andaman, Andaman, and the Jawari tribe, you will notice that there is a tribe so pure in their black melanin nature, but they are confined in a space because they don't coexist with modern civilization. They are living currently in Ross Island of present-day India. The existence of the Andaman people of the Ross Island of India and the Jawari tribe is a proof that the story of Adam was copied from the ancient Anunnaki texts in Sumeria, Gilgamesh, and the Inuit. When you begin to read Emerald Tablet of Tahuti, the tablets at Gilgamesh, and the stone tablet of Inuit, when you begin to study the works of the Anunnaki, you would notice that most things they told you is actually a lie. Now, you will notice that when Africa want to talk about their history, they will say that so and so progenitor fell from the sky. A normal human being will be saying that. Which one is that somebody fell from the sky? That is because you don't understand how life used to be. I used to teach you vibes. I need to teach you people that the Igbos have an understanding that there are 4 different eras of existence. Number 1 is Ogaka. Number 1 is Ogachi, followed by Ogaka. Number 3 is Ogamu, and number 4 is Ogazi. As at the time of Ogaka, we does not have anything to do with modern day technology. Somebody called me and asked me, Maazi, if you claim that our ancestors were very enlightened, why didn't they build cars? And I laughed. Do you know why I was laughing? I laughed at the person. I told the person, if someone has the ability to move from Lagos to Anambra in 1 second, why then will the person require car? If you can teleport, what then is the essence of driving? I repeat, if our ancestors could teleport, then there is no need for buying cars. In fact, our ancestors understood that the use of car will bring about global warming, because the combustion from the combustion engine contains materials that depletes the ozone layer, which is the chlorofluorocarbon. But there was something our ancestors had, which till today CIA and FBI is still confused about it. And that thing is called UFO. In Igbo science, we call it UFO. I repeat, UFO. UFO is depicted in Igbo science, ancient Kemetic science, ancient Sumerian science. They depicted UFO the same way our ancestors depicted UFO. What you call UFO, the Igbos has been calling it UFO. In fact, we even call it Ufondo. The UFO of life. UFO is like a machine which was depicted in your Bible in Ezekiel 14. It was used for astral traveling. It was used for teleportation. It was used for time traveling. It is always circular in shape. This UFO, it works in a cyclic motion because our ancestor always says that they visited the stars and other celestial spheres, which means it is not a joke that our ancestors communicated with what you call today extraterrestrial. Now, with the science of Ikiri, which till today the white men are struggling to learn about, it is now obvious that there are several sciences and meta-sciences which the Africans knew and still know that predates the knowledge of the whites. But I cannot discuss it on camera. But you can go and ask your grandfather, what is Igbo Ikiri? And what is Ikiri itself? Kedu ka esi akpọ Ikiri? I will do my hand like this, meaning, let me wave it off. With this viewpoint of mine, I have proven to you that we are in existence before your Jewish brothers. Going further, for those who are medically inclined, it has been proven beyond reasonable doubt that nobody that is of Caucasian, I mean the white people, no white person can give a DNA resemblance or modification or mutation of a black person. But a black person has the ability to mutate the DNA of a white person. I repeat, the white person cannot give birth to a black person. It is impossible. And I will tell you why. The sun, for those who don't know, Anyanwu is a new modern Igbo language. I repeat, Anyanwu is a new modern Igbo language. Anyanwu is a new modern Igbo language. There is something our ancestors called the sun before now. When Steve Hawkins was postulating the principle of molecular relativity, he was referring to the black hole theory. which means the black man, the black color, is the origin of everything. Now, when they wrote your Bible and they included that there is a people who will be given the mark of the beast, 666, our African brothers thought they were referring to a mark on your forehead. Nobody knew. It's only some of us like you are. The awakened ones understood that they were referring to the molecular combination and composition of your DNA. The modern man contains 6 proton, 6 neutron, and 6 electron of the melanin carbon atoms. So when you hear that we are the beasts, know ye that it's because you are black. And with that, I will explain why I said that 7,000 years ago, there is nobody from the Caucasian that existed. I hope my health will allow me. If TikTok is down, I told you to switch to Facebook. I cannot stress myself. Please, moderator, help me with these people distracting me. Now, I repeat, if your network is bad on TikTok, come over to Facebook. Now, when you realize that they lied to us, this is when you begin to realize the sun, the name is actually not Anyanwu. Anyanwu is a new modern name. There are 2 ancient names that our ancestors referred Anyanwu as. Number 1 is this. Chijekojo, for leave my live stream, you are distracting me. I say it without apology. Disappear from my live stream. How bad is the network? Levi Anthony, if you wanted me to speak Igbo language, you should have changed your name to Igbo. You can't be preaching what you are not doing. How can your name be Levi Anthony and you are advising me to speak Igbo? Now, going further, the original name for the sun was actually 2 things. Number 1 is Ora. Number 2 is Osa. Ora or Osa. And listen and get it. When you go to a diviner who does Afa, you will notice that he will tell you, Kenaora. If you are an Ofeke, you will think that he's referring to the public, which is the crowd, which is Ora. But that's not what he's saying. He's actually talking about Ora, which is the sun. Now, the ancient Kemets, who happens to be us, Because I said it that the Igbo was part of every civilization. The ancient Kemet has their way of using our syllables. In ancient Kemetic pronunciation, if a noun starts a word, the noun will be silent. I repeat, sorry, it was a mistake. If a vowel starts a word, the vowel sound will be silent. If a vowel starts a word, the vowel sound will be silent, which means the Egyptians, when they are quoting us, they want to talk about Ora. O that started Ora, because Ora is O-R-A. The O will be silent, and you will hear them saying Ra. When they were talking about the deity of nature, which we called Onetalowa, the thing you are calling Owa, the full name is Onetala. But for the fact that people are always interested in the first name Onetala or Owa, they always ignore the O because O is a vowel. Instead of calling it Onetala, they call it Neta. In ancient Igbo cosmology, the origin of the world was caused by a cosmos which we called Onetalowa. The ancient Kemetic cosmology said that the origin of the earth was from a deity, the cosmos deity of Neta. The Englishman copied this etymology from the word Onetalo, which gave us Neta. They gave us the word nature. When you look up the etymology of the word Onetala, which is Neta, which is nature, it will bring you back to one place, the ancient Igbo language. And they are always in form of trigrammaton. Trigrammaton, meaning they use three consonant denotation. The vowel sound is silent. And you see them saying NTR, neta, which is Onetalo. All the vowel is silent. In ancient Kemetic text, every vowel sound is considered silent. Onetalo. All the vowels was taken away. You will see the consonants. Am I making sense to you? Now, if a black man can give birth to a white child, because a black woman is the mother of all creation that can mutate every genetics on earth, but a Caucasian cannot do it, because we are created in the test tube. Within the lab, it is written there from the stone tablets from Temple of Edfu. You will see the depictions of how our ancestors genetically modified the new modern Caucasian. And there was a divination that said that this new creation will be so wicked in time to come. And they sent them, confined them to the Caucasus Island, to be confined as a prison. The only company they have in the Caucasus Mountain was the dogs. Until today, it is obvious That is why they have so much affinity with the dogs. Remember I said, this is not a hate speech. If you pick the DNA of a Caucasian and sample it with that of a dog, you will be shocked with what you will see. Now, Ethiopia, that was the ancient black land, including all the land you called Africa. Onetaro or Onetaro, because sometimes in Igbo language, Aru and the L are interchangeable. I am talking of dog, D-O-G. Delta Oscar Governor. Delta Oscar Golf. Till today, there are places in Europe that the Caucasians will sit down and be barking like dogs. You can check and report. Fana na tiembu ka nkịta, maka na nkịta dị fa n'ime. Ọtụtụ mgbe amụọ fa na-ebu ọdụdụ, maka na nkịta ka eji lụọ fa. It is possible for a black person to give birth to a white person because our gene is dominant, but a Caucasian gene is recessive. When you don't understand why things are done, as a black person, when a white person is buying dog, you go and buy dog too. Are you okay? In fact, there are some events in Europe done today where the youths, both elders and the young, will come out en masse to sit in their city, in their street, to bark like dogs. Go and verify. When you see these things, you don't understand why. You rushed and buy dogs. And you don't understand why our ancestors forbade the consumption of dogs and pigs. Going further, the black woman is the only woman that has the genetic ability to replicate every other race. I will show you some Africans who has given birth to Caucasian-like creations without being impregnated by a Caucasian. And the modern day researchers were fast to call it the Eve gene. When you browse or research about the Andaman people living in Ross Island, the Jawari people living in Ross Island, when you look at their color and look at your color, look at their features and look at your feature, you will notice why they are being kept apart. What am I trying to say? It is an insult to the black race to say that a white race gave birth to us, instead of saying that the black race gave birth to a white race. Because a black race is the only thing that is indigenous to nature. We are the aboriginals. The white race are genetically modified. Remember, I said that I'll be treating the topic one after the other. What I just treated is to prove that the black race, which are the Igbo, pre-existed and predated the Jews of what you see today. Having said that, I will go to the historical fact which states that there is nobody called Jacob or Jacob. I saw a post and a comment, and someone said that the word Jacob is Yaakov in Hebrew. That is to say, that is the same thing with Jacob in Igbo. You are mad. Identity crisis is what is making our people doing everything to make Hebrew language look like Igbo. There is nothing you would ever do on earth to make the ancient Canaanite to become the ancient Igbo. Now, when we use the word Kembe, I am of the opinion that for the fact that Eri is the same word with Eshi, which is the same word with Eri, I consider them dialectical dysfunction, whether you call it Eri or Eshi. And the ancient Sumerian text is quoting Eshi as one of the kings that ruled in Sumeria. Then I can boldly say that Hebrew language, which is originally the word Ibri, I-B-H-R-O-I, from the ancient Canaanite language, which was ancient Upper Kemet, has nothing to do with the Igbos, because Hebrew is a mixture of Yiddish intertwined with Koine Greek and Aramaic. If you place Igbo language in a close context, you may tell me that this place called Israel, which I know is not a name of a country, but a three names of deities, Isis, Amen, Ra, and El. Isis, Ra, and El. You can say that our ancestors, whom are nation builders and sojourners, you may say that our ancestors sojourned to such land, but don't say that those people gave birth to us. It's an insult to history. I repeat, the teachings of today is in 10 series. The series we can complete today, we rest. Tomorrow, we continue until we finish the 10 facts. The point we are treating is series number 1, to state with facts and proof that the Igbo race predates the Jews. Hence, the Igbos cannot come from the Jews. Another point to prove that the Igbo race predates the Jews is the existence of the Indians. With due respect, calling them Indian is an insult to them. I repeat, if you meet a true Indian, he will tell you that their name is not Indian. That the word Indian is from the word Hindustan and the Himalayan mountain. It's an insult to them. Their actual name is Bharat. B-H-A-R-A-T. Bharat. You can verify. B-H-A-R-T. How many of you are hearing it for the first time? That the actual name of the place you call India today is actually Bharat. It is actually an insult and a derogatory statement to refer them as Indians. Their name is Bharat or Bharat. It is an insult to call them Indians. Now, when Dunstan Shaw was documenting the Wugu robot excavation, they noticed that the pot, which was dug up from Ibuku, contains the most ancient bronze work ever made in the entirety of West Africa. Please, it is Bharat, not P. It is P. I don't know the people writing P. It is not P, it is B. B for ball. Bravo. Bravo. Bharat. The name Bharat, B-H-A-R-A-T, the ancient Urdu language of the Sanskrit, Urdu, the Urdu, U-R-D-U, the ancient Urdu Sanskrit language was found engraved in one of the artifacts exhumed from the Ibuku. Catherine Acholono was investigating why will Ibuku pots contain ancient Sanskrit language, and I begin to investigate. My investigation brought me to something I call the Harappan civilization. I repeat, with digging the Roku Sanskrit, I begin to trace, and it brought me to what we call the Harappan civilization. H-A-R-A-P-A-N. Harappan. I made some call to my friends in India, and I discovered that the Indians said, and they know, that the Harappan civilization was a group of Africans that came as at 7,000 BC, which is about 9,000 years, to develop the land of present-day India, Bharat. If the Indians accept to be from us, how then did you say that we came from Adam? Tell me a race that predates us on earth, and I will tell you you are a liar. Now, there is one lie circulating in the world today, and that lie is AD and the BC. When you say that AD is Anno Domini, or after the death, BC is before Christ, it means you don't know history. What do I say this? The actual denotation is CE and the BCE. I repeat, instead of saying AD and the BC, the actual denotation is CE and the BCE. CE means common era. BCE means before common era. I repeat, instead of you to be saying AD and BC, it is wrong. The right denotation is BC, BCE, before common era, before B, Bravo Charlie Echo, before common era, and Charlie Echo, CE, common era. In fact, the Bharat people were once ruled by Africans, by the black Ethiopians. I repeat, if you doubt that we ruled India, there is traces of our rulership over India. One of the examples to prove our leadership over India is the name of our emperor, which is till today denoted in their river, River Ganges. River Ganges. The name Ganges is the name of one of the strongest emperors from Ethiopia that ruled ancient Ethiopia. So when you hear River Ganges, Ganges is the name of a black man. You can check and verify that River Ganges was named after Emperor Ganges, the ancient emperor of Ethiopia. And there is another lie they are covering from you. Every time, all they can do is to be referring you to ancient Kemet, because that is the civilization that they have not yet stolen finish. I repeat, every time they are referring you to Kemet, as if to say that Kemet is the only civilization the black Ethiopia had. Don't you know that the people that civilized ancient Kemet actually came from ancient Ethiopia? Our ancestors were sojourners. Our ancestors were sojourners. Please, those on TikTok, if TikTok does not want to stay, let us leave it be. I don't like the distraction I'm getting. The Igbo people, we are making one mistake from time past, and that mistake is still happening till today. Remember, I asked you guys yesterday in my post, are the Igbo people under a curse? Many of you did not understand why I said that. If you ask me, something is actually wrong with the Igbo people. They are comfortable developing other civilization. But if you move far home, you will notice that their original land is nothing to write home about. We developed ancient Ethiopia, ancient Kemet. We made the Caucasian mountain trail. In fact, history says that the ancient Kemetic prince married a princess from Igbo origin whose name was Iruopa. And that was how the name Europa came to be. I thought it was a joke. I was looking, what is the symbol of Europa? And I discovered that the symbol of Europa is the face of a black girl. The Igbos are good in developing other civilization. But when you move home, they have nothing to write home about. If you think it's a lie, use something that has happened in the past 50 years and know for yourself. Number one, look at the glory of Lagos, the glory of Abuja, the glory of Banana Island, the glory of Ivory Coast. Look at the glory of Ghana, Cameroon, and you will see the hands of Igbos. But please take a journey down to Igbo land. You will notice nothing worthy of emulation. Go to Sabongeri in Kano. Go to Breeding Kebi. Go to Semblema in Cameroon. Douala. Go to Yaoundé. But when you come home to Igbo land, you will find out nothing worthy of note. If you don't correct this madness, generations to come will not remember that we did so much for others. Please, for those talking about debate, it's an insult for me. Debate. I don't have such time again. There was a time I have time. I say, get me a worthy candidate. So if you want to get, you get somebody like somebody magodong. We are bringing that chitalo for you. Simon, you have a debate. On a Greek. Now, the Harappan civilization of India also contains one of the essence of Igbo. I repeat, the Harappan civilization contains 4 essence from Igbo. The ancient Igbos said that we have 4 Oga: Ogaka, Ogachi, Oganwu, and Ogas. At a point, I was angry with our ancestors that is it that they were sleeping. But later I discovered that our ancestors was born in an era of zero enlightenment, that the cosmic energy of the celestial sphere could not allow them to be proactive like we are now. For example, in Oganwu, which happens to be the era in which our ancestors were born, our fathers, I noticed that Oganwu should last at least 1,000 years. When you hear me talking about Oga, I'm talking about the 4 different eras in Igbo cosmology. Our children who are the Indians called it Yoga. We call it Oga, UGA. They call it Yoga, YUGA. They said that they have 4 Oga: Satya Yuga, Trita Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and the Kali Yuga. I'm about ya Oga, Kaogachi, Yuga, Ogas. The Kali Yuga is the same thing with Ogas. Ogas is the time when your fathers and grandfathers were born, an age without enlightenment. They were living comfortably in ignorance until November 2012, when we entered into the age of Aquarius, Ogan, the age of enlightenment. Even in Buebido say tewe. And if you are paying attention, you will notice that it is in 2012 that most revolution started. Religious enlightenment, spirituality, intellectual repercussions, political revolutions, all started 2012. I've restarted TikTok. What am I trying to say? If Ogangu is now and you are still sleeping, then you have yourself to blame. When our ancestors says, Azebakwa, they are making mention to Ogasi. Ogasi, may we never experience Ogasi again. You know, Igbos think that words are joke. When you hear Azebakwa, it is not a joke. It's not just a statement. Just that you don't understand. You did not understood that Ogasi was an era of blindness. So when they say Azebakwa, they are referring to Ogasi. The Indians called it Yoga. We call it Oga. And we are in the 11th year of enlightenment. If you choose to still be sleeping, you are on your own. 11th year of enlightenment and you are still sleeping. So, using the pre-colonial teachings of the contributions of our ancestors and the Harappan civilization and the creation of several pyramids and what Nodi civilization, you should also remember to note of what we call the University of Nalanda. University of Nalanda, you can write it down. Nalanda. The University of Nalanda was the university, the Africans who taught the Indians, situated in India, alongside the ancient Indians, the Parats. When you see somebody like Shiva and Krishna, all painted white, it is not a truth. And when you see Lord Shiva having snake all over his head, that is not a truth. What Lord Shiva have on his head was dreadlocks. Because Lord Shiva was a black person. The original aboriginals of Indians were pure blacks before the Europeans begin to crossbreed with them. If you doubt, check the Indians living in Tamil Nadu and Kolkata. Check the Tamil Nadu Indians. And I thank the ancestors for giving Parats a good leader like what they have now who is revitalizing all their ancient heritage. With this viewpoint of mine, I have proven to you that the Igbos pre-exist and predated the Jews. In fact, within that region, the farthest civilization around that place was Iran, ancient Sumeria, which is about 3,200 BCE. Remember, I've taught you the difference between BCE and CE, common era and before common era. So 3,200 BCE was the story of Iran. But I'm telling you of people that predates 3,200 BCE. Those in TikTok, transfer yourself to Facebook. I cannot serve two masters at the same time. Now, going further, if you really want to learn of your heritage, you must be careful of whitewash history. Circulating, bad things is easier to find. If you look up on Wikipedia, they will tell you that Jacob have 12 sons, that the 10 tribes that were lost, that the Igbos are one of the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Una de grace. In fact, making mention of Sambation is another madness. And I will tell you why the story of Sambation is madness. Number one, if Moses did not exist in history, I begin to doubt the authenticity of everything written in the Torah. I told you that in history, the man you call Moses, which the Hebrew people call Moshe, did not exist in archaeological finding. Rather, the man called Pharaoh Akhenaten was copied and plagiarized. So what am I trying to say? Before they tell you that your ancestors were wanderers, tell them that even Pharaoh Amenhotep has commanded several empires before the advent of present-day Caucasians. I'm laughing when I see people who don't know who the Igbos are. I begin to look at you and I say, do we really know who we are? Today, I posted a video to show you one of the excerpts of Imhotep, the father of medicine. A man who has more than 2,000 patents. But Facebook took it down. I wanted to show you that our ancestors has been doing brain surgery with natural root and herb. I have the video. I posted it. Mark Wansoka took it down. You will see our ancestors open a woman's skull and operated on them and covered it. And they told you that the whites taught us madness everywhere. When a child does not know their history, any other person can come and plagiarize your history. Now, point number one. I'll try and post it on TikTok. I'll try. Point number one. I've completed the first series because I don't want to go deeper. I've completed the first series that the Igbos predates the Jews. But I will not complete it without adding to you that the present day China cannot say that they don't have our traces in their DNA. The present day China, Korea, and Japan cannot say they don't have our traces in their DNA. And I will prove it. There is something we call our own Sanskrit writing, because it is an insult to say that Igbos who were once called DG, I hope you understand what I mean by DG. DG means a master who have mastered the techniques of yam cultivation. If our ancestors have acres of land, it means that they knew how to count their yams, which means there was a numbering system. If you doubt it, what about the tally system? What you call tally? Tally is, you remember tally now, when you draw 4, you cross it. Now, I made a post showing you how we wrote chi, the chi energy. Till today, what we call chi is what the Japanese, the Chinese, the Koreans are calling chi. The chi. But the chi, the full word for chi is actually, the chi is an energy. But when the chi is assigned to you, it becomes akala chi or chi akala. Akala chi, the mark of your chi. That is what the Indians called chakra. Because two vowel cannot stay together. So I has to go by virtue of portmanteau. So chiakara becomes chakra. So if you don't understand that we gave birth to the Indians, then you should stop saying that the Igbos don't have history. Chi, the force, the energy, the prana, the essence of existence, we call it ether, E-T-H-E-R, ether, the essence of life. When you trace languages, you see SRs. Uziben, I've told you that I don't fight you. If you know me, I don't fight. Just that I don't like it when someone belittle our people, thinking that we don't have great men. As far as I'm concerned, the Igbos are so enlightened that nobody can intimidate us. But the funny thing you don't know, Uziben, is that as an Isoko man, you are an Igbo man. But that will be a teaching for another day. The day I will review the teaching of how the Yoruba and the Isoko are one family. Every of us will be shocked. Wait till I get to the Yorubas. You will see that these people are very wicked to use politics and divide us. That's why when I see Uziben saying, I will be like, how can a brother be fighting? But that will be a story for another day. What am I trying to say? The Chinese has a writing system. The Chinese Mandarin writing system is originally the same way the ancient Igbos write. The problem is this. The people that introduced this alphabet had a way. But I think I've not gotten to it. That should be number 7. So let me not go there now. I have finished the series number 1 to prove that the Igbos predate the Jews. and that we contributed to so many civilizations. Having said this, nobody should belittle us. Nobody should belittle us. Do you know, I said there are 4 places I can tell you to dig today, and you will find a civilization that predates Egypt. Number 1, if you do the Dueri Kingdom, present day Aguleri, if you excavate at Leja and Soka and the environs of the Sude Pyramid, if you dig Ohofia environ, Abriba Ohofia environ, if you dig Iboku environ, then you will begin to see a civilization that predates Egypt. Now, if Jacob, like you said, is one of the children from Adam, and Adam is just 6,000 years, it is now obvious that he was older than Adam. And I've told you where they copied Adam. It's from the Andaman people presently living in the Ross Island. From the scripts. Guy, he gave me bring me here. I'm on live stream. He gave me bring me here. My dear, okay, I have completed the series 1. Now series 2 says that the Igbo race cannot possibly be said to have only one progenitor in actual traces. With due respect, this is not to create divide. But when we are talking about actual history, we should not be tantamount to perjury or jingoism or sentiments. We follow history without apology. What am I trying to say? If you look at the area, you will notice that the area account cannot generally encapsulate every part of Igbo land. And for the people using Genesis 46 verse 16 to justify the existence of area in the Bible, you are insane. I repeat, you cannot say that because you saw Genesis 46:16, somebody don't understand when I said for Christ's sake. When I mentioned the word for Christ's sake, I was referring to my pineal gland. I've said it here on my live stream. If you hear me say for Christ's sake, I was referring to my pineal gland because I told you that Christ is the oil that goes from my lower chakra to my pineal gland. So I'm connected to my cosmos, to my holy of holies. Now, if you ever say that Eri was begotten by God, the fifth son of Jacob, it means that you are just trying to use the Bible to justify your how do I say it? The Bible is not a book of history. The Bible is a fictional work. In fact, Galatians chapter 4 verse 24 confirmed that the Bible is a fictional work. Okay? Why do I say this? If you can't see any way to give stars, send money to our account. We appreciate. Moderator, you can post our account so that they can put money. So, I am looking at how many series can we confirm. In Galatians chapter 4 verse 24, your Bible said, for all this is an allegory. Allegory, a story with hidden meaning for political interest. Now, for those who understood Judaism, do you know what they said? Baruch ata Adonai Elohim Melech HaOlam. Do you understand what they meant by this? Baruch ata Adonai Elohim Melech HaOlam. Ya Gibor wa El Gadol Elohim Ya Ekad Bi Hashem Yeshua HaMashiach Awamin. This alone is a proof that there is nothing that concerns us within Israel. I made a post when I taught you that if someone says, Baruch Atah, blessed art thou, blessed art thou, and I said, who are they blessing? And they said they are blessing Hashem. Who is Hashem? Hashem is a personification of the tetragrammaton, which they call Yod He Wad He, Yahweh. And I said, what is the embodiment of Yahweh? And the embodiment of Yahweh was El. Then what is El? El is an ancient Canaanite deity that behaves like Ekwensu, the god of war. And I became angry. When we were studying Hebrew, I took cognizance to study the 22 alphabets from Aleph to Tau. And I did not find any semblance with our ancient writing system. So somebody must be lying to somebody. So what am I trying to say? When Pharaoh Akhenaten tried to start monotheism in ancient Kemet, monotheism means the worship of one God. Pharaoh Akhenaten said that every other gods must not be worshipped, only Ra. Immediately I had only Ra. The ancient Kemet chased Pharaoh Akhenaten out of Egypt, out of Kemet, and he was running away and crossed the sea of reeds. Those who we are translating from the scroll, from the tablets, and they said Moses crossed the Red Sea. It is actually the Sea of Reeds. Nobody have ever crossed the Red Sea. And how can Egypt, ancient Egypt, Kemet, which was welcoming everybody for enlightenment, suddenly enslave the Israelites? Somebody lied to somebody. The Greeks came to Egypt for 500 years, their lands. Nobody enslaved them. How then did the Egyptian enslave the Israelites? In fact, the Bible account is even confused. How many years? And there is no traces in any script or tablet in ancient Egypt and the ancient present Egypt. No proof that the Israelites came there as slaves. What they called the Ark of Covenant was already there in the mortuary temple of Luxor. Even that we were wondering, it was already there in the mortuary temple of Luxor. The Igbos were calling it Ogidi. Ogidi. Isi na de Ogidi Ogidi. Ogidi agbakwa yonu. When Uzzah saw the Ogidi falling, Ogidi touched Uzzah touched the Ogidi struck him dead. But identity crisis is making our Igbo brothers to identify like Jews and not as Igbos. Is your the good man? Now, to explain to you the small cap the Jews wear on their head. It is to symbolize the deity of the sun we call Ra. I repeat, the deity called Ra, Anyanwu, it is depicted by the sun. So we barb our hair round to symbolize the sun. But due to this present Caucasian who could not have such hair, they are now using kippah to symbolize the sun. If you don't know that the symbol of the kippah is to symbolize the sun, you go and sleep. I am an Igbo man. If there is any proof, it is possible, see the way I'm saying it, it is possible that our ancestors must have left here. It was possible that some of our ancestors left here to go to a place called Canaan. If you say Canaan, I will agree. But once you mention Israel, I disagree. Because everything painted about Israel was a literary fiction of a man called Josephus Flavius. You can verify, thank me later. Including the war of Bar-Kokhba. It was all masterminded by Josephus Flavius, a Greco-Roman. When they wanted to form Israel in 1948, they wanted to give them the land of Uganda. But they said the storyline did not match Uganda. My people perish due to lack of knowledge. You don't know who you are. Anybody that said you are from Israel, they have twisted many things to make it look like Hebrew. They said that Abraham is the same thing with Abiama. And I told them it's a lie. That Abiama means knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and inner standing. Have you asked yourself, why is it that when the sun hits you, when the sun hits you, The helium atom from the sun resonates with your pineal gland. And when you sleep, it will secrete 4 hormones for you. I repeat, when an African person goes out to the sun does not harm the person. Actually, the sun heals you. Now, what does the sun do to an Igbo man, an African man, a black man, an Ethiopian? The sun yields to your pineal gland by virtue of your melanin. This melanin, your melanin content will absorb the sun, save it, transfer it to your pineal gland while you are sleeping. It will do 4 things. Number 1, it will secrete melatonin. Number 2, it will secrete serotonin. Number 3, it will secrete epithalamine. Number 4, it will secrete adenine vasotoxin. Adenine vasotoxin is like a natural painkiller. When you sleep and you're having pain in your body, provided the sun beat you that day, when you wake up in the morning, adenine vasotoxin, a hormone released from your pineal gland because of this melatonin secreted from your body, it will trigger your adenine vasotoxin. Your pain will be relieved before daylight. Natural painkiller. And that is why our ancestors understood the concept of placebo effect. What you people are calling miracle. Placebo effect. Placebo. For you to understand placebo effect, you begin to understand the frequency modulation for healing. Watch what I will do now. You always notice I'll ring bell. Why I'm ringing bell is to transport the frequency to your brain. I ring bell. I modulated a frequency to your brain. There are some level of frequency, there are some measurement of frequency that heals somebody. We call it in physics cymatic frequency. CYMATIC. When you propagate a sound wave, you notice that the sound wave can go into your head, either to create attention or to create calm. For example, frequency of 1040 Hz. That is why music is a combination of frequencies. When you go into a harmonic notation, from octave to octave, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, when you are playing your chord, you are picking notes and harmonic notations that will resonate with your brain. That is why when you go to church, the easiest way to get healing is something like Sabbath and select. Do you know why? Once they begin to play music, they are triggering several frequencies by the chords. And it is working on your brain, creating a placebo effect. Sound wave, causing you to get healed. At the end of the music, because They know that the music have done the job. At the end of the day, your brain has been programmed. Cymatic frequency. There are several types of frequency. There is a frequency I will propagate. It will draw your attention. Once I ring it resonates vibration that draws your attention because this metallic object is sonorous. Pastor, the pastor will begin laying of hands. Then your brain has conditioned itself to heal itself. Then you will realize that, oh, you are no longer having a headache. It is when that the Geo touched my head. It's a lie. It was the cymatic frequencies, the vibration coming from the chords, the guitar, the bass, the music, the tympanic membrane. That's why it all go nsọ mgbe a ijebezie n'ụlọ ụka akụrụmaka ndị sabat pịa gị ịgba n'isi. Hey, ọ bụ na ịma m mgbe m na-ajụ ịgba unu amarọ m ya dịba. Hey, cymatic frequency. Cymatic frequency for placebo effect. It is the use of Ikolo. Ikolo transpose such frequency in Igbo land. Ikolo. When they resonate Ikolo, another orchestra that does such is the Oja. You know Oja? Oja. When you blow the Oja, Oja resonates with the spirits. Oja travel to the other astral plane and awaken the consciousness of the ancestors. An orchestra. That is why when you want to catch some animal, if you know how to fish, you will know that for you to catch some animal, you only need to play a sound for them. For example, if you want to catch an alligator an alligator. You know what is an alligator? Alligator. The only thing you can do to catch an alligator is play B flat. I repeat, go to a water body where there is alligator, play key B flat, and you see all the alligator in the water will come out. Because their brain cell was conditioned by nature to resonate with the sound of key B flat. Because I can tell you, call no man can order of fella. Comment where you are watching from. Remember, we are only in series number 1. We've not done series 2. We are only in series number 1. And we have 10 series. So it's remaining 9 series. But we are only in series number 1. So, having said this, you have now been convinced, not by lies, but with facts, that our ancestors knew all these things, and that we are ancient people, Igbo. Have you learned anything today? Have you learned anything today? One second, let me drink water. At this point in time, I would advise that we don't learn it all the way so we don't confuse each other. I will suggest that we close today with series number 1 so that series number 2 would continue tomorrow, same time. Is that okay? Let's be doing it series by series. Tomorrow we might treat 2 series, as the case may be. If I load all this thing on your head, Obako Gisi, I'm suggesting we close for today and leave it for tomorrow when we will bring in a new series. And that will be that the Igbo race cannot possibly be said to have one progenitor in actual traces and archaeology. Hence, we will begin to talk about the 4 to 5 different compositions that made us Igbos. Even if you've not learned anything, you should know that AD and BC is wrong, but BCE and CE, common era and before common era. So, sending you love and light from Arofonia Shrine here in Nando. I wish you the best. Signing out. And you can drop your comment. For those who want to bless us, if you want to support the ministry so that we will see what to buy fuel with tomorrow. Because today, I lost 2 batteries today. I repeat, I lost 2 batteries today. There was a power surge in the inverter, and the 2 of our battery got burnt. So if you can help, buy us solar battery and send it to me in Nando, I will appreciate. We lost our solar battery 2 today. We need new solar batteries. We need 2 solar batteries. 2. I repeat, we need new solar batteries. At least 2. We need solar batteries. We need solar batteries. If you can invest solar battery, please send it to us. I think I've done justice to today's teaching. It's a privilege meeting us. A solar battery is about, before it was 150,000, but now that dollar has gone up, it's we will be mapping 200,000 for it. For one solar battery. So, in case you want to buy solar battery for us, don't even give us money. Send us the battery. We prefer it that way. Did you hear what I just said? You can send us the battery yourself. We don't even like the money. We prefer lithium ion. Lithium ion battery, water, wet cell, recyclable battery. To 200, yes. That's why I'm making it 200, fixed price. $200 fixed price, so it will help us to get the whole thing. Okay, you said I should pin as I don't pin as in case. in case, I think I've done justice to today's teaching. I think I've done justice to today's teaching. This is a UBI account. It is my personal account. Or you go to the page and pay into the organization account. And at that matter, I greet you. Tomorrow's teaching will be by 8 o'clock p.m. at night. Don't miss the teaching. Invite others. If you think today is wonderful, tomorrow is more wonderful. The problem about me is this: when you think that I've done the best today, you don't even know what I will do tomorrow. My agu no dey finish. So if you think I've done nothing, I've done something today, tomorrow will be a shocker. What I will do tomorrow cannot be compared with what I did today. That is the concept of agu. May we all live to excel. Signing out everybody. You have the account. If you wish, you can support by doing that. Let me not make a fuse out of it. Good night, everybody. The only book I can recommend for now is After God is Dibia by Anene Chukwume. Very, very wonderful book. Good night, everybody. Catch you phone.